Okay, I'm just going to start talking since I've tried the last two streams where nobody showed up, and probably no one will show up, and that's okay, and we'll do this again some other time. But for now, I'll at least try to make it an interesting video to watch anyway. Jars of Clay's first record. Here's a picture of the cover based on that was the from the book. I cut up my book and done things with it, so that's why that's the way it is. There. This record in particular drove me nuts because I was learning how to play guitar like at all to be able to play at all. B, it was in an odd tuning that I didn't learn until years later. C, I think the way the book is set up is more to give you the essential essence of every song in there. The note runs for the violins and the pan flutes and things are in it, but you know, I mean, it's either you can hear that and be able to play it because you're that good with that instrument already, or you read the music and then you learn how to play it because you have enough reading knowledge and know your instrument well enough to do that. And you can like transcribe it out of the piano notation that's offered in the book. Or you just found some other way to replicate it, or you just lived without it and were happy with being able to just play other instruments and cover it that way. So that's how it went for me. I was, you know, the drum loops that are in there. I mean, I didn't know anybody that knew how to do drum loops, or I never met anybody at the time the record came out that would set up and program drum loops to put on during the songs. The very first cover band I was in called The Calling, which I guess there was another Christian rock band called The Calling, so we had to, I don't know if we changed it to The Call, I can't remember how we changed it, so we wouldn't get copyright violations going on. We covered Like a Child, and the way we did it was one of the guys who played the electric guitar, Anthony, I'll go ahead and say his first name anyway, Anthony, he had like a red cherry Fender Stratocaster, and he just played, I'll show you how he played it because I still do it the way he basically showed me how. Was the way he played it was like this. He would play, let me get the camera down low enough, so it would be like, so like that, or we would, or maybe even with the so it'd be, and then for the C chord, and now I do it where I mute the string below while I press the root bass note, so above, so it's, so there's that is muted, and then my D string, my fourth string is muted, and then my fifth string is muted when I play the G. Or if I'm playing it in standard, that's usually to sort of, I think it takes out the third in the chord, which is what the tuning did. The tuning would just play the first and root first note and the fifth. So that kind of makes it sound more accurate in terms of playing it in standard tuning, and also covering the B string on the third fret, because the capo would cover it too when Jars played it in the alternate tuning. Let me go get my other guitar that's actually tuned in the Jars Play tuning so I can show some stuff there too, what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have my old blue guitar that I've had forever. that some of you may recognize. Still have it. Capo 3, it's already tuned. The big secret is the G is tuned down to an E, the third string is tuned down to an E, and the fourth string is tuned down to a B. And then you have, it sounds like a suspended chord, I guess. I'm telling you what I think I know what I'm talking about, what I think I know what I'm talking about currently in this video. So jars would do it like. So that's how easy that was. One finger. So going 2. And then for your D chord, doing that. And there's things like a child. I actually haven't done a tutorial for. Some other guy did it, and I put up his video, which was pretty good. And that song is it's quite a song. The guitars are just a part of it. There's so much. There's the strings. There's the pan flutes, bass guitar, that riff that they play in between verses and choruses. I think even on the Frail demo, it got something like a bounce on there or something. I don't know if that's a Ron Lewy or if that was Steve Mason or who that was, because Matt Odemark wasn't in the band yet. This is how anal I am about this band. I know about Matt Braun Lewy, the Matt Braun Lewy years, which I think were a year or so, and that was it. And then Matt Odemark came along, and that's how it went from there. So there's that for Like a Child, and then playing it in standard. Some little tricks I picked up on. There's like the during the chorus, the it's like I would say it's like a D added fourth chord, and so I do if I play it in standard and I'm playing it live, and we played it at church a few times, so I would do this. I would go. So that's like a way I played it in standard. Did it that way. So that was, that worked and sounded a lot like what I think what was going on the record. So I get away with playing it in standard by the big things I think are covering the second string or the B string on the third fret to get the note right, and how it would be with how the capo is when you use the alternate tuning. So is your thing there, and then there, and then for songs like Love Song for a Savior, I've done like a couple videos, figuring out how to play it with a capo on the third fret in standard, playing it with a capo on the third fret in the alternate tuning, and playing it with no capo at all in standard. So that's like 3 different ways that I figured out how to do that song. I liked my capo standard tuning version that I came up with. That video is there to watch if you want to watch it. Get another capo, I think. I got another one somewhere. Let me go get that too. It's a live stream video. We can be sloppy. It's okay. Let's see here. No one has entered the chat. That is okay. That's all right. This is a for fun video anyway. So if I'm playing Love Song for Savior in standard tuning, capo on third, I'll give you a taste of what I came up with. The recommended chord in the book is like a C major 7, I think. So if I'm doing that with a capo on the 3rd fret, that's a in standard there. And then if I want to do some kind of D chord, I do, I guess, what's considered a D suspended. And I'm muting that low string. Johnson, tell this trick. I owe you. I owe it to you while we're using my middle finger to mute strings. For you showing me that with power chords. That's where that came from, and I still use it to this day. So I would do something like. And that G chord is a weird like thing, which I think makes it does the formation of it makes it more like how it would be if it was in the alternate tuning ways, but it's in standard, and I do. So there's no 3rd note in the chord. The third note inside the 1, 3, 5 of the notes in the chord is taken out that way instead of going. It's that that becomes a so there's that. So that's what makes that work well in standard tuning for Love Song for a Savior. If you don't want to mess with the tuning and you want something that still sounds like the record, that's my method for doing that. My E just being another power chord. What's nice is I can go from that D suspended to this. I'm pressing, like I said, I press down the 4th and 5th, the D and A strings on the 2nd, and I'm using my pinky on the 3rd string, the G string on the 4th fret relative to where the capo is. I'm not gonna say the actual fret because it just drives me nuts personally. So I'm doing it this way. You know, if you want to, that would be your 5th and 7th frets from the 1st. So, but anyway. So, and it sounds accurate. It's easier to switch. There's a couple of reasons I like that method. So that's my explanation for why I do that, or why I like that, and why I thought it was worth sharing in a video tutorial. Some of the other chords I had to play with, like. So there's like little options that I have with that. So, but anyway, that she's more than the laughter of the stars in the heavens. Or I could even go. You know, it would probably sound okay. It would depend on how your band is playing it. You know, where your little chord nuances need to be messed with and changed. There, so. So that's cool. I just like that. And then so there's the, and then I honestly, it's been long enough to where I kind of forget how I did it. So. Second chord, so like a C2, A2 shape if you're thinking about things without a capo. And I'm muting my lowest string, the 6th string, with my ring finger. So it's just, and then from there I go. So I can reach up to my 6th string, pressing down the 6 while touching the 5th to mute it, and hold my fingers. Well, I can sort of, let's see, how would I do that? If I was doing from, I can have it there to mute the 6th string while I let the 5th stay open, and then I can press it down for the next chord and mute the 5th below it. So it's kind of a really smart way to do it in standard. It is a smart way. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's a smart way to do it if you're playing it in standard. So. Just tried something there. But yeah, I mean, you go ahead and check out that video to see more of how I did that, and if I did that the way I just now did it. I may have changed something. But yeah, there you go. I mean, there's a way to do it without having to mess with the tuning if you don't want to. And messing with the tuning, it's actually, there's not so much barring involved, which is nice. It's a lot easier on hands, I think, in general, that open tuning than if Jars had to play that with 500 shows or however they did on that first tour with bar chords. Man, it would have been pain after that, I bet. So that's cool. That's neat. What else have I done that stood out from that record? But yeah, I just that I was so unable to do anything. There's so many things I can do now on the guitar. I understand key changes and how chords change when I put a capo on, not even just necessarily changing the key, but knowing that this is here and then this is a G. Yeah, I'm just doing a YouTube video. Mom. Okay. Spaghetti dinner. Always good. Good meal. Go-to meal. So yeah, I mean, it's just hopefully I didn't mute my video by putting my cover there, but yeah, this record has fascinated me, and I've gone over it more than once, and obviously, and continue to come back to it. And maybe when I learn some more, I'll come back to it yet again and do more videos and have more to say about it. So yeah, it just continues to challenge me. I think it was such a good record. I think it had elements of all the major music styles that were going on, and it has hip hop, it's got country, it's got alternative rock, it's got classical music in it. It's definitely a pop record. The way it maybe set the standard for how church bands play contemporary Christian music now. A lot of people point to this record, I think, or a few have pointed to this record saying this Jars of Clay helped set the standard for that. So yeah, I don't know much more that I can point out. That's not coming to mind. Let me think. Let me just go through the songs. Liquid still, I still haven't gotten them. I haven't found a quote unquote comfortable, happy way to play Liquid. Because it's like if you're going to play it, I'd tune the strings a half step down to get the key that they used if you want to do it that way. I think I've always done it where it was just in standard, so we just do a and I saw Steve Mason they did a coffee house back when they were still in college, and he's up here on the 7th fret doing an E minor up here, and he's something to that effect. And they're playing like a very coffee house version of the song, and it fits the environment they're in, and that's really awesome that they adapted the song to where they're playing, I think, in my opinion. So, and then the chorus. without tuning down, or you learn how to do some kind of capo version of it, or something. Look. Something. So if you're going to play it in the original key. So, yeah, playing it in the E flat minor key. I bet there's an easier way to do it. Yeah, so that song, we covered it and we played it in E minor instead of E flat minor, and I never tuned half step down because, you know, again, that was something where I didn't have multiple guitars available to do that, or have a guitar set up just to play liquid with in the church band, so I didn't do that. Let's see, Sinking. I always liked Sinking. Sinking was big for me. I always liked that song a lot. So I figured out a way, and I made a video on how to play it, capo on the 3rd fret and standard tuning. So yeah.
Tomorrow morning I'll be taking you to work, so I'll be getting up when Mom is basically up at some point.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So my car's in the shop. I'm waiting for a wheel to get fixed, and a rotor, I think, is bent, and they're going to replace it, and there's some stuff. So yeah, cars. Maintenance. Get your maintenance done. Get your maintenance done. Everything checked when you're supposed to get it checked, and it's just how it is. And if you can learn how to do it yourself, do it yourself. Oh my Lord, do it yourself. But yeah, that's the cool thing about that Sinking, is when I figured out how to play it. I mean, when I first started, you know, I went with what the book gave you. The book was, and then I don't even know. Eventually, I just started doing this. And then I figured something else out. Something like that, and then just going, see, the thing was, and I think I finally had to start learning how to play a bar chord C minor. So that was how Sinking started out for me. And I'm like, I like it, but I know it doesn't sound like the record. So years later, when I started the whole doing videos thing, I decided to figure it out. I started experimenting in standard tuning, and I'm like, oh man, it's so much better. And I was like, so it's like, I still do that. That C second to that C minor, but it sounds so much more like the record, I think. So it's, I guess, there's your G suspended, so to the G7 that the book recommends. So I just go, and then the C second, C minor, which I think is like C minor second or something. You know, since that would be the right name for the chord relative to what's going on in the song. That's why they chose that name for that. So. But let's see. But anyway, you can check out my video tutorial on all the other little nuances that I figured out how to play with it in standard tuning. Whenever Love Song for Savior, Whenever Like a Child, Art and Me, I never really got anywhere with it standard tuning wise. I just went with the whole. And then I think I liked, because it was probably closer to the record, the you just kind of do the whole thing like I do for Love Song for a Savior when I play it in standard with the whole just basically. So for Art and Me, it's E minor to C to D to a G with the B in the bass, and then repeating until that one part where it's an A 7 suspended basically, and E, D, C. So that I should I don't know if I have a video up for Art and Me in standard tuning, but there might be my next video there for that. He is just in standard being crazy. So if you like Switchfoot's Learning to Breathe, you really have to bend that string. My pinky sucks at it. There's a little Switchfoot note, but Switchfoot's that helped me. Playing He helped me play Learning to Breathe better. So the riff from He being see. So yeah, and I still, He is what it is. Most of the time when I like to jam on it, I play it with the blue guitar. Hey, person. I'll try. What do you want me to play? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me talk? Yeah, this chat's devoted to Jars of Clay's first record. I don't know if that's the name of it. I don't know if you can, or if you're on my tutorial channel, if you're a member. Are you a member of it? Somebody just actually signed into the chat, so that was like, wow, there's a person on the chat. That's cool. But anyway, yeah, I'll just sort of, if he says something else, I'll try to acknowledge it. But yeah, just playing He in standard, that's sort of the best way I figured out how to do it. And I always, with the book, and the book was like, I figured out I could go kind of, once again, the Love Song for a Savior standard tuning, no capo method, working for he to a certain extent. And I don't think I did. I have a video for he in standard, and it's probably because I haven't figured all the nuances or come up with a method that covers the whole song that I'm satisfied with that I'd want to share with the world. So I that's so anyway, that's been, let's see, he, and then what was it? Boy on a String. That one's been, I've always played the way it was suggested. Maybe like varying the chord by having again, covering the B string or second string on the 3rd fret, which I could do a. How do I get that riff in there? I don't know. So I guess I would, yeah. So playing it in standard, and trying to find a way to do that would be a challenge, and maybe that would be something I might have to do the capo on the 3rd fret type thing for, and to be able to fill in that blank. Flood, Danny Emmons. Hey Dan, if you're watching this and have made it this far into the video, Flood, you could do the sort of a version of it with the capo on the 3rd fret in standard that was like, let's see, so it's sort of hard to get that with a standard for me. If somebody's got a method, make a video, I'll post it on the thing. That's fine. So yeah, Flood event, essentially there's one where I usually reach for the blue guitar and play it Jars of Clay way, and that way, because I haven't really, that's another one I haven't worked out in standard, and even when I play it in standard, I always capo on the 3rd fret. The one cool thing I guess I get from playing it in standard is maybe do that, and I think you could just go. And it sounds really darn close to the record there, and it's probably because that's sort of a quote-unquote 5th chord in standard. So there's your 3rd eliminated again. Worlds Apart, man, that was a funny song in standard. We used to play it, my friend and I would go. Up there, and he would play the and now in terms of a more accurate way to play in standard, I include a C sharp note with that A2 for standard. And there's this guy who printed off this, who made a chart for it to play it in standard that's even more accurate than anything I ever played. So, and I tried to follow the book's chords and things back in the day, but yeah, I used to give it what my friend and I, he would play down there and I would play up here. It worked okay. It wasn't like the worst way to go about trying to play that song, but and now I can play it on the blue guitar with no capo and play it really, really, really close to the way Jars did it. So that's cool. That's real exciting. And yeah. But yeah, in terms of like. And then. Get that in standard. So it got better over time, and then finally at the point where I could play it with Jars Place tuning. And honestly, if I played it live again, I'd want to do it in the alternate tuning. So yeah, and then Blind. Blind was one I didn't really work out until I was like, well, I want to have tutorials for all the songs from that first record. So I finally figured out a way. I remember the Stringtown record was really good because you could really hear the part at the beginning that they played on the Stringtown record. That helped me get a little farther with that song, but I never, Blind wasn't one that I listened to a lot or whatever. It was kind of slow. It's, kind of gloomy, and, if I was going to go gloomy, I was going to go Frail. Frail is the song that I listened to and was like, I have to play this song. But this is the first record, so I'm not going to go into that discussion. So yeah, but there's a video for Blind now that I put up, and I really went over it, and it's all there to check out. And I need to watch it myself because I don't remember. That's part of the more than anything. Posting these videos is good for me personally because I can teach myself how to play the songs again if I need to. So who better to teach myself than myself how to remember things? But yeah, I think this video is 40 minutes long, and one person came in, and thank you, person, for coming in. I'm sorry I couldn't do what you were wanting, but this was supposed to be a chat about Jars of Clay's first record, so I was trying to keep the focused, for the sake of doing that. And we can do another one for Much Afraid or something, or maybe we could redo this one if people want to try to redo this one and have another talk. But I just wanted to make this, if no one was going to show up to this video, which only one person did, try to keep it interesting by going over all the songs and maybe that's a good thing. It was a good experiment. And kind of keep things moving along, just talk about the songs in the order that they were on the record, and to keep the chat moving, and that's great. So I learned some stuff here. That's great, even though it was my first serious live stream. So cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching this. If you're watching the recorded version of this instead of the live version, and hopefully you guys all can make it out to a live version. Thanks a lot. See you later.